Asian Americans were redlined from opening businesses in white neighborhoods because white people didn't want Asian Americans operating in their neighborhoods and didn't want Asian Americans profiting off of white people. But because the positionality of Asian Americans is weaponized to oppress black people, Asian Americans were being given loans to open businesses in black communities, even though black people were not able to receive loans to open businesses in their own communities. And as I've said before, as a result of this, Black wealth is essentially paid out twice when it goes to Asian American businesses, once when the individual pays for the goods or services, and then again when the Asian American business owner removes the profit from the community. Because usually people open businesses in their own communities, and this is mutually beneficial, where the business owner is making a livelihood off of providing goods and services to their community, and by being a member of the community, they're contributing and they're investing back into the community. This is an ideal situation, and that is not what happens with Asian American businesses operating in black communities.
Said, should we boycott Asian shops? Is that what we should do? And then every one of them said yes. Yes. Okay. Because how are black people supposed to mobilize if they're in our communities? It's not no Asian hating. It's about economics and why black people can't keep their black money within their community. So when you go to your corner shops and, you know, the food stock that they sell, right? They sell our food. They go to the corner shops. They have chicken shops lined up in our thing. It's all going back in into their community. How is it coming back into ours? We have to boycott them. We don't want to, but we have to boycott them to keep it within our community. Otherwise, how are we going to progress? Right? I can't do it on my own. I need black people to help me. And I also said as well, I said, black people, you need to take time with black businesses as well.
Yeah. What you need to do, it's not even about boycott the Asian shop. It's like, buy black. That's all your message is. No, buy black.
The reason why I disagree with that, sorry to cut you.
No, go on.
The reason why I disagree with that is because when you say buy black, we still are about convenience until we get out of that mindset to strictly go and buy black. You have to give black people options. If I don't give them options, what they're going to do, they're going to fall back into the cycle. You have to get, and this is what I'm saying, like when I said boycott the Asian shops, it's because they're literally in every single community.
As you said, give the alternatives. So you can say, the only reason I'm saying, because I think getting tied up into a culture war also isn't helpful for us. Because we just look like the aggressors or something. No. I'm not saying don't call it out. I think there's a conversation that I definitely think there's a conversation that needs to be had.
I haven't been to an Asian beauty supply store since Stop Asian Hate. And I know what y'all about to say. Oh, it's not all Asian people, right? But in my experience, living where I live, Asian stores have been anti-black and racist towards black people. And that's not what if, that's a fact. I've literally experienced that. I've experienced being followed around. I experienced being stared at and looked at weird and rushed. I've experienced those things. So I haven't been supporting Asian businesses since then. Okay. It wasn't hard for me to stop going to Target because I really didn't go anyway. But Walmart, it was kind of hard because I used to go all the time. But I stopped going to Walmart. So if I could stop going to Walmart, y'all can stop going to Walmart. What else? Yeah, that's been my way of protesting and boycotting and spending my money in places where it better serves me. And I've just been mostly buying groceries and cooking things. I've been in an Asian restaurant probably twice since that Stop Asian Hate thing. And that wasn't of my own free, what's the name? You know what I'm saying? Like it was somebody else that wanted to go in there. So that's what I'm saying. That's my way of doing it. Y'all can respect it. Y'all can't respect it. You know, again, I'm not saying it's all Asian people that do these things, but from what I'm seeing, from my perspective, is a good chunk. So that's what I'm doing.
I'm boycotting all Asian businesses. And I said it with my blood clot chest.
A black woman who's really been making waves on social media lately. She's calling on the black community to basically boycott all Asian-owned shops, corner shops, restaurants, you name it.
You think it's just an accident that black businesses disappeared?
Now, why is she doing this? Well, she argues that Asian communities got a leg up from the British establishment. Like, historically, they had it easier getting mortgages, starting businesses, and just weren't targeted as much as black communities who faced, higher stop and search rates and more barriers to building wealth. So she's saying, let's redirect our money to black-owned businesses. And yeah, she's getting quite a bit of support from folks who feel like, finally, we're doing something to empower our own community. Some people are even saying they've already started boycotting and it feels good to keep the money circulating.
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great from wherever you're watching this video from. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Agent Stories, and it's a beautiful day that God has granted unto us. I don't know what's the time where you're watching me from. Kindly tell me the time where you're watching me from in the comment section and the state that you come from, right? Say hi, at least get to know each other and each state that you come from. It's really, really important. So brothers and sisters, there's an important video that I want to share with you. Really, really important video. There is an economic awakening that Black Americans are having. And it is interesting that it is in this time, especially when America is going through harsh economic times, that Black Americans to be specific, have decided to have this. And it's so important, it's so encouraging. And I'm not saying that other group of people should not hate, because, you know, Black people have been one of the biggest consumers in the United States, and majority of the businesses move because of the purchasing power of Black Americans. Now, this is the catch. Black people have decided that, you know what, Asian businesses that are set up in the Black community, they are going to boycott them. Not because they don't want Asian people. No, this is about economics. This is not about feelings. This is about returning money into the Black community. Something that for the longest time, the United States government have not always wanted Black people to have. But this is the power that Black people are going to be having. And I've decided that if it takes shutting down Asian businesses that are in the Black community, if that all it takes, because for the longest time, Black Americans have not gotten the privilege of getting loans and starting all these businesses as compared to all these other communities that are set in the Black community. If you get to understand that alongside redlining, where Black people were not able to get loans, it is time still today. Black people cannot get a given amount of loan that will help them start a business. But remember, non-Black people in the community get these loans, which means that this only means one thing. It means that Black people are put to be consumers forever. But Black people have said that, no, we ain't playing that game anymore. We want something for ourselves. We want something with our name. And guess what? Black people are boycotting Asian businesses in which are planted in the Black community. And they're saying that their dollars are going to be staying in the community. Brothers and sisters, stay tuned as you watch the video. You know, I'm your host and presenter, Xenophobia Stories, and I'm going to be back with my thoughts and commentaries in regards to this. And hey, if you're just watching me for the first time, you know, I'm asking you to please subscribe to the channel, join the membership, and really get to see what I can offer you. But until then, I'll be back with my thoughts and commentaries in regards to this, so stay tuned.
Locally in the Black community. But here's the other side. She's also facing a ton of backlash. A lot of people are calling this out as basically racism in reverse. They're saying, look, you can't boycott businesses based on the owner's skin color. That's just not how a modern, fair society works. Critics are pointing out that Asian communities face plenty of hardship too. They dealt with racism, Islamophobia, and they often succeeded because of really hard work, long hours, and strong family networks. So to them, this isn't about privilege. It's about sacrifice and effort. And then you got Feg saying she's got double standards. Why only target Asian businesses? Why not apply the same logic to other groups? And people are really worried that this kind of rhetoric's just going to divide communities that have lived side by side for ages. So that's the situation in a nutshell. It's a big, messy debate with strong feelings on all sides.
I'm very glad that the conversation about South Asian people implanting themselves in Black communities and taking our money but not showing us any kind of humanity is coming up again with the whole situation with the Peckham hair shop, because it's a very, very valid issue, and it's very sinister to see that a lot of people, a lot of South Asian people and Asian people in general will set up shop in Black communities, and they'll take our money, but they'll be following us around shops, and they will be just displaying very, very racist behavior due to white supremacist ideals. I'm so glad the conversation's happening. I'm so glad that there's a conversation about boycotting these shops until they show us respect, or, just indefinitely. But on the back end of that conversation, obviously, a lot of Black people are once again saying that we need to start investing Black pounds, Black dollars in the US, because similar things happen there too. A lot of us are trying to start the conversation that we should be investing that money, our money, within our own community. And I just have something to say about it. Don't worry, I'm not saying that we shouldn't do it, because I love buying from Black businesses. If there's a Black business that does the same as any other business, best believe I want to buy from them first. That is you know, hands down, that's always what I want to do. Like, I do believe that we, you know, the black pound holds a lot of weight and we should be investing it back into our community. So don't worry, I'm not saying. But what I am saying and what I am begging from the black community this time is, please, can we have this conversation in earnest? Please, can we be serious about this conversation? Not about whether or not we're going to do it, because we can do it very easily, but about businesses within the black community and how they are run. Because there are plenty of black businesses that have a good business plan, that have longevity in mind, that have you know, good business, is it acumen? I think that's how it's pronounced, but basically just very good business skills, who are going to go very far in life, right? You know, 10 of which even got $10,000 investments from Beyonce at her concert. If you know, you know. But you know, there are plenty of black people who are doing amazing in business. This is not about you. But from these times, from these conversations, from these boycotts, there always pops up quite a few unregistered black businesses, unregistered businesses run by black people in general, right? Just completely unregistered, that have bad business plans, bad etiquette, bad customer service skills. They don't know how to budget properly. They don't know how to, you know, separate profit from how they need to be paying people, how they need to be paying themselves, all that kind of stuff. It takes time, okay, to make money from a business. It really does. It takes years to turn over a profit for some people even. Which is why I want to say that if you want to start a hair shop of your own, if you want to start a lash business of your own, a hair business of your own, a facial business of your own, whatever, please, can you first and foremost get the correct qualifications that you need to do that, right? So if, for instance, if you're doing lashes and you want to take please take a legitimate cosmetology course. You want to do facials, you want to have a course, please, can you be a licensed esthetician before you do this? If you want to open a shop, please make sure you have all of the right details before you do this. In the times of free AI, free chat GPT, they can make you a business plan. Please, if you need help about like how to look for these things, there's so many tools on TikTok. People who run successful businesses, they're here telling you all of the secrets. Please do not start businesses within the black community and be playing in people's hair and lashes and their lips and their face and their physical body and even like other product like clothing and stuff. Please don't be playing in people's bodies and wardrobes just because you want to make a quick buck. Because it's so upsetting that from these conversations that are happening in earnest and people who really want to start businesses for the black community and actually help us out as a community, it's so upsetting when I see that the ones that are actually being promoted are the disingenuous, I'm just trying to make a quick pound side hustles, when in my opinion, if you want to start a hair shop, that needs to be your full thing. That needs to be your whole gig, right? For a certain amount of time. More of you need to realize that when you start a business, this is an investment, okay? This is an investment. This is full time, okay? And I know that we always hear the stories about how, you know, these big CEOs, they were doing this alongside studying at Harvard and blah, 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 blah. But what they don't tell you is that they've had investments from their parents. They've had hundreds of thousands of dollars invested from people who they know because they have certain networking skills and blah, 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 blah. If you are somebody who is working class, lower middle class, whatever, it's going to take a lot more of your time, because time and money are the biggest investments in this world. It's going to take a lot more of your time if you don't have the money to invest in these businesses. Because if you don't have hundreds of thousands of pounds to pay other people to do things that you need to do within this business, you're going to have to do the role of about 20 people at once. Which is why, off the back of these conversations about boycotting certain hair shops, if you want to start a business, I really encourage you to do so, but I need people to understand the gravity of starting that business, because we're going to continue having the same conversation, because this conversation happened last year, this conversation happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years, it happens all the time. But the reason why we still aren't getting enough money into the black community, the reason why we aren't circulating the pound within the black community, is because a lot of us are not starting these businesses in earnest. A lot of us do not know how to run these businesses to a successful degree. Okay, we don't know about how to deal with competition, for instance. Like, you can't go into the field of hair and then be pricing it 20 times more than the South Asian shops, because, for instance, a lot of us don't have the money to invest in that. Okay, and the competition is going to beat you out because they've got better products than you and they're cheaper. Like, it's just stuff like that where I think that more of us need to learn how to start businesses and run those businesses properly and really invest the time that we have, because most of us don't have the money to invest, that the equivalent. So yeah, I just think amazing this conversation has started. Amazing we want to invest more money within the Black community. But please, if you are going to start a business, know what it takes. Be the person who knows what it takes to start a business and go for it. I really encourage more of you to do that. I really encourage more of you to seek out the skills that it takes to start a business. But please, fully grasp in your head what it takes to start a business. And please get fucking registered on HMRC. I'm so tired.
Coming back here, we're gonna be in front of this store. We're gonna show you what a black bitch is.
See me, I'm a solution girl. So let's do one better. How about all the people that got the money in this community, in our community, as black people that got money, let's start funding our own beauty supply stores. Let's start funding the shit that we like to spend money on. How about that? It's all cool and all to be posted up in front of a store that we know some black people are still going to go to because they need that quick, fast, instant gratification shit. They don't know how to go without that shit. Okay, cool. Let's protect the black people. Yes, I love what they're doing, but let's also put some money into stuff that we buy. Beauty supply stores, grocery stores, hair, nails. Let's start putting money actively into those things so we can have our own. Fuck this inclusive shit. I'm tired of it. We should have never, ever, ever been desegregated. We should just realize that we can make this shit on our own. That's the only thing we should have did.
Recently on Tuesday, a Thai restaurant that goes by the name of Tasty Thai that is located in central Fresno in California was shut down after being subjected to a barrage of racist threats and remarks because of a viral video that surfaced online where the original poster, Alvarez Garcia, showed a clearly distressed dog that was chained up outside of a home next to the restaurant. And despite the owners of Tasty Thai having no affiliation with that home or do not even know the owners of that home, she made baseless assumptions and baseless claims stating that this restaurant must be selling dog meat. This incident brought up a lot of questions and topics that I've wanted to cover for a really long time, but I haven't, out of fear of my opinion being disregarded by people claiming that I must be an avid consumer of dog meat by defending the act of dog consumption. Growing up, I was constantly subjected to so many dog eating jokes, cat eating jokes, whenever I would tell people that I'm Korean or they could clearly see that I'm Asian. And despite a vast majority of Koreans, nearly 87.5 of them, nationwide have stated that they have never consumed dog meat and they have no plans on consuming it in the future. I personally have a really, really cute dog. His name is Apollo. But one question that I've always had is why do people constantly crap on the act of consuming dog meat? But they never seem to shame people that eat duck meat or consume horse meat, despite those two animals also being pretty beloved household animals in certain cultures, or just generally being beloved by the general population. The act of consuming dog meat is only illegal in 6 different states in the United States. Similarly, horse consumption is also illegal in a multitude of states in the United States as well. However, the act of consuming horse meat is pretty common in certain places in Europe, like Italy, Belgium, France. Yet you never hear people online going up to a European and saying, wow, you eat horse meat, or wow, you're so gross, you eat horse. Why is that? That is because dog eating jokes are used as a means to vilify Asian people, to constantly paint a picture that they are a perpetual foreigner and that they are not welcome in this country. In recent years, there has been a stark increase in anti-Asian hate crimes as a result of COVID-19. But racism and discrimination against Asian Americans isn't anything new. The Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 is the first and only federal law that banned a specific nationality from becoming U.S. citizens. Or even back in the 1870s when there was an influx of Chinese immigrants. A lot of Chinese immigrants, as a means to be able to make their living, started owning laundromats. And when someone saw that the store that they owned and they wanted to own that for themselves, they would go to the health department and they would state that you should shut this laundromat down because it is dirty and it is diseased simply because it was owned by Chinese people. During the height of the pandemic, I received so many comments on my social media posts calling me a bat eater, calling me a dog eater, telling me to go back to my home country, even though I am a U.S. citizen and I was born and raised in the U.S. I understand that people have different beliefs and may want to criticize other people that consume dog because it doesn't align with their beliefs, because they consider dogs to be pets rather than food. But in other cultures where cows are viewed as sacred, and I would say a vast majority of Americans consume meat with the exception of vegans or vegetarians, you don't hear incidents in the news of people going up to Americans and saying, wow, you're so weird for consuming cow meat. That is fine if your cultural beliefs are different from another person. But that doesn't mean that you should shame them.
Why do people vilify Asians for consuming dog, but not Europeans for consuming horse meat? It is because dog-eating jokes have been used as a way or as a means to vilify Asian Americans, to perpetuate the perpetual foreigner stereotype that is rooted in racial stereotypes and general cultural ignorance, in addition to xenophobia. This selective focus on dog consumption and these double standards just highlight a biased perspective that constantly targets Asian Americans as a means to reinforce this idea that Asians are not welcome in this country, that we are weird, that we're exotic, that we're diseased. This act of establishing Asian Americans as exotic or as perpetual foreigners can even be further reinforced with how Asians are fetishized by the media now. I know that there's been an influx of a lot of people appreciating Korean culture, appreciating K-pop or K-dramas. The amount of times that I've been told that I'm so lucky that I'm Korean is kind of astounding. And although I'm so grateful that people are appreciating my culture, you shouldn't be able to pick and choose what parts of my culture that you will choose to accept and disregard. So many people from so many different countries come to America to chase the American dream, whether they're fleeing from war-torn countries or just generally trying to seek out more opportunity. I understand that certain cultural practices may seem foreign or may seem weird to you, but you shouldn't be able to pick and choose which practices that you deem to be weird or that should be vilified just because of the color of my skin. You should be holding everyone else to the same standard and realizing that everyone is different. But that's the beauty in living in a very diverse country. We're constantly exposed to so many people from different cultures, from different countries, and instead of shaming them about the country that they come from or maybe the practices from their original country, we should be working to educate ourselves and be more accepting from people who come from a...
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you all are doing great. Now, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the video. This is what is the most interesting thing. I love that my black people are getting an awakening, and the awakening is economic awakening, and people are learning that we are going to be supporting black businesses. This is a topic that I've been saying for the longest time. Understand that the only friend that a black person has is a black person, and it's true. If you want to know that it's true, you as a black person, go and set up business in an Asian community and see if you'll get a lot of customers as compared to the way Asians are setting up their businesses in the black communities and getting customers. Just go look at it and tell me if you are going to be finding something about it. So, brothers and sisters, it is good that black people have decided that their money is going to be going back to the black community. They ain't going to be sharing their money with nobody. They're going to develop themselves because, as a matter of fact, so many businesses, so many people have grown when they have black people. And there was this white woman who was confessing that if somebody takes her away from the black community, she's done, because nobody supports our business as black people. Black people are so much supportive. You know what that means? That means that these people have been getting market from the black community. Yes, these folks have been getting market from the black community for the longest time, and they understand the significance of having black people around. And if you want to know the reason as to why it's so hard for white people to segregate, do you want to know why it's so hard for white people to segregate away from black people? It is because who will be their clients? Who will be their clientele if they decide that, you know what, if they decide that they are gonna be living by themselves, then it means that there is no person or there is nobody that will be buying their products. So that's just how it is. Right? So, black people, Tell me what you think about this. Tell me how you feel about this. I honestly want to know. It is positive. Maybe for some folks, or for some people, they might say that, oh, that's so unfair. Leave people to buy from where they want to buy from. Asians, support black businesses and so on and so forth. All of that. I really want to know what you think about this and what you say about this. Somebody said that Asians don't buy shit from blacks. With returning energy in 2026, don't buy an egg roll from them people. 2026, boycott the beauty supply stores. There is no reciprocity between blacks and other groups. Asians do not spend money with blacks. True or false? True. Keep it up, black people. Our unity is our power. They have no respect or sympathy for the black race. Asian Americans, you feel how you feel, said what you said, and did what you did. FBAs are staying on card. I know you know. Black Americans have power. You don't have to do business with anyone. You have the right to disrespect. You have the right to disrespect us, and in return, we keep our money in our pockets. That's how we pay you all. Somebody said that no, they've been keeping their dollars in their own communities, especially the Arabs and Indians. They don't buy from black people. They buy and support their own. So we gotta continue doing that as well. Somebody said that during the civil rights movement, I marched and boycotted for other minorities to come to this country. The Asians are prejudiced and will tell you their attitude is violent and disrespectful. Recently, we started boycotting their stores and fewer sales. One store does not allow us to go in the store. You stand outside and wait until they ask you what you want and still not let you in the store. I stopped 2 years ago. They planted the seed and it's growing. Somebody said it's all because the white folks are afraid of black business will knock white people's business out of business. Just remember, Black Wall Street, white folks gotten so jealous and intimidated over black businesses and are skyrocketing, and they gotten mad and boom, out of town over a white woman lie about a black man supposed to go grape her. White people are so afraid of black business. So people are sharing how they feel about this, and I think it's eminent. Black people are making a statement, right? Somebody said that. I like what she's saying. The new money is coming from the younger generation now, and they need to know this information. They have the money now. Young black people are more prosperous, my generation, and they do not need people to rip them off, but they need to know who the business side. I love what she's saying, but you all please don't keep ignoring those entrepreneurs that are opening up businesses. They are black people that own businesses. Give them their credit. It is what you call new money. Very interesting. So this is the second last comment that I'm going to be reading. I haven't dealt with Asian businesses in 25 years. I don't go to Asian restaurants, beauty supplies, stores, and especially in Asian nail salons ever. Not for 2+ decades. And I go out of my way to shop at black-owned businesses. Now I live in San Antonio, TX. So it's a little bit harder finding black-owned grocery stores. But if I have to order from out of the state, I do. This is the last comment that I'm going to be reading. Black Americans have been taking action against discrimination for years. In many neighborhoods, there is an Asian beauty store right across the street from black-owned beauty store, which was opened by black Americans who wanted to serve their community. Since I live nearby, I often need beauty products, and I choose to go to the black beauty store because Asian beauty store is known for its racist attitudes. Why would I spend my money at a place that has racist staff. Also, I'm glad that Black Beauty Store is there. I don't have to worry about being judged for color or my skin or being followed around the store, which can be really frustrating. We need to stop giving our money to racist business. The more we support them, the worse their behavior becomes. They often talk about facing discrimination from white people, but if that's the case, maybe they should learn to treat Black customers better if they worked together to create a respectful environment. They wouldn't have to worry about Black consumers threatening to boycott their businesses. We are tired of the disrespect while they continue to profit from us. So, yeah. So please tell me what you think about this. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Agent Stories, and let me see you on my next video. Until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.